Have you ever felt like you said the exact right words with perfect grammar, but the person still looked confused?
Oh, absolutely. That's such a relatable problem for language learners, you know?
It's the worst feeling, right? You practice the vocabulary, the verb tenses are correct.
Everything is technically accurate, but the meaning just doesn't quite land. It doesn't connect.
Exactly, and that's what we are diving into today.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Leo.
And I'm Mia.
Welcome back to the English Blend, where we help you sound more natural and comfortable when you speak English.
Today's topic is super important but often ignored. English, intonation, and rhythm. Explained.
We're talking about the music of English, the way the language moves up and down, fast and slow.
If you understand the rhythm, you unlock a completely new level of communication.
It's about getting your point across, and we'll show you how.
Exactly. So grab your coffee and let's get started.
So, Mia, let's start with the big picture. Why do we even care about intonation when we have so much grammar to study?
That's a great question, Leo. And it brings us directly to the difference between fluency and accuracy.
This is a classic dilemma for every student.
Absolutely. Accuracy is about following the rules, the correct verb form, the right preposition, perfect punctuation.
It's the technical side of language. It's what you learn in textbooks and pass tests on.
Right. And accuracy is important, of course. You need a solid base.
But fluency, that's a different game entirely.
Fluency is the ability to communicate smoothly and naturally, without long pauses or constantly worrying about grammar.
It's the flow. It's the connection. It's making sure the listener doesn't have to wait 10 seconds while you conjugate a verb.
Exactly. Think of it like driving. Accuracy is knowing all the rules of the road, the speed limits, the signs.
But fluency is being able to drive smoothly in traffic without crashing or stopping every 5 seconds to check the manual.
And when we talk about real-life conversation, especially in a fast-paced work environment or a noisy cafe, which one is more important?
Fluency, hands down. If your grammar is 80% correct, but you speak quickly and clearly with good rhythm, you are understood 99% of the time.
But if your grammar is 100% perfect, but you pause every 2 words to check the rule,
People struggle to follow you. They lose the thread of the conversation.
the listener spends so much mental energy waiting for the next word that they forget the beginning of your sentence.
It interrupts the flow of meaning, and that flow, that rhythm, is intonation.
Yes, intonation is how your voice rises and falls, and rhythm is the pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables.
English is a stress-timed language. That means we don't spend equal time on every word like some other languages.
Some words get a big musical boost. They are the most important words in the sentence. We call these content words.
Nouns, main verbs, adjectives, adverbs, these are the stars of the show.
And the little words, the prepositions, articles, auxiliary verbs, they rush by very quickly. They are barely stressed at all.
This contrast creates the natural, bouncy rhythm of English.
If a learner stresses every word equally, it sounds flat and mechanical. It loses the rhythm, you know?
It makes the listener work harder. They hear every single syllable, but they can't easily distinguish the main idea.
So our goal today is to shift your focus from 100% perfect grammar to about 80% good grammar and 100% great rhythm and intonation.
Because that 20% imperfection in grammar is often not the end of the world. That's a great phrase, actually.
Not the end of the world. We use this when something is a problem, but it's not catastrophic or terrible. It's manageable.
Like, oh, I forgot the past tense, but it's not the end of the world. They still understood me.
Exactly. Your listener's brain automatically fills in the small gaps if your flow is good.
Let's talk about why grammar specifically tends to block fluency.
This is something I see all the time in high-level students. They have studied for years. They know the conditionals, they know the difference between since and for.
They are highly accurate.
But when they open their mouth, they freeze. They stop. The thought process is too long.
They're trying to apply a rule in real-time conversation.
Think about how fast a native speaker talks. We're not thinking, okay, that was third person singular, so I need an S on the verb.
No, it just comes out naturally because we learned it as a chunk, as a sound pattern, not as a rule.
When learners focus too much on accuracy, they mentally edit every sentence before they say it.
That editing process is the killer of fluency. It creates those long, uncomfortable pauses.
You start a sentence, then your brain hits a grammar wall.
Hit a wall. That's another great phrase. What does hit a wall mean?
When you hit a wall, it means you reach a point where you cannot continue, usually because you're too tired or too stuck. You stop making progress.
In language, hitting the grammar wall means that sudden pause where you realize, oh no, which preposition comes after depend, and your entire sentence stops.
Precisely. You stop speaking to solve a linguistic puzzle. But real conversation doesn't wait for puzzle solvers.
The listener has already moved on, or they start speaking to fill the silence.
And then the learner feels even more pressure, and the whole cycle repeats. It's exhausting.
So the solution isn't less grammar study, but changing when and how we apply that knowledge.
We need to move grammar from the conscious editing room into the subconscious flow.
And intonation and rhythm are the secret weapon to help with that transition.
If you focus on the rhythm, you start to speak in chunks, not individual words.
Chunks are natural groupings of words, often related to meaning, that we say in one breath.
Like, I need to go now, is one rhythm chunk, not 4 separate words.
By practicing those rhythm chunks, you bypass the need to analyze every single word's grammar, because the chunk is already correct.
It's about sound pattern recognition, not rule application.
That sounds much less scary than memorizing the entire passive voice chart.
It is. Let me tell you a short story that illustrates this struggle between accuracy and getting the message across. It's kind of a cultural note, too.
Please do. I love cultural notes.
I once taught a student who was an engineer from Europe. Super intelligent, absolutely brilliant at complex grammar.
I know that type of student. They love structure and rules.
Exactly. His written English was perfect. He used complex structures like had been having flawlessly. But when he spoke, he was almost impossible to understand.
Why? Was it pronunciation?
Not just pronunciation of individual sounds, but the rhythm. He spoke every word with equal stress and in the same slow, measured tone.
So I am going to the store later.
Yes, and because English relies on the listener picking up the stressed words, the main ideas, when every word is stressed, nothing is stressed.
The message gets completely lost in the noise of equal syllables.
He was trying to order a complicated coffee, a large iced latte with oat milk and 2 shots, at a busy New York cafe.
That's a long order already.
He delivered the order perfectly accurately, grammatically, but with 0 rhythm. The barista, who was busy and rushing, looked at him and said, "Sorry, can you just point to what you want?"
Oh no, the ultimate defeat.
He had the knowledge, but he couldn't get his point across because he lacked the speed and the rhythm the situation required.
Get your point across means successfully communicating your idea or opinion to someone else.
It's the ultimate measure of successful communication, right? Did the barista understand what milk he wanted? No.
If he had said large, iced, latte, oat milk, 2 shots, with those 3 words stressed, the barista would have understood immediately, even if he missed an article or 2.
The grammar failed him because he trusted it too much. He neglected the music of the language.
That story perfectly illustrates why fluency is communication, not perfection.
Keep focus on fluency equals communication, not perfection. We are communicating to solve real-world problems, like getting coffee.
It's not about passing an exam, it's about participating in life. So let's move into the practical steps. What can our listeners do right now, starting today, to fix their rhythm and intonation?
We have 5 key practical tips here. They are simple, but they require consistency.
Consistency is key. That's rule number 1 for language learning, you know?
Tip 1. Massive listening and shadowing.
We talk about massive listening a lot, but for rhythm, it's critical.
You need to saturate your brain with the natural music of English. Listen to podcasts, TV shows, and YouTube videos. Things that are designed for native speakers, if possible, even if you only understand 50%.
The point here is not comprehension. The point is soaking up the sound pattern.
Listen to how the speakers stress words. Listen to the way their voice goes up at the end of a question and goes down at the end of a statement.
The pitch change is intonation. It carries meaning. Rising pitch usually signals a question or uncertainty. Falling pitch signals finality or a statement.
And once you listen, you must shadow. Shadowing means listening to a short clip and repeating it immediately, trying to match the speed and sound of the native speaker exactly.
You are not trying to match the words at first. You are matching the pitch and the rhythm, the melody.
That's why we call it the music of English. It's like singing. You don't try to read the sheet music first. You try to match the tune.
Start with just 30-second clips. Listen 3 times, then repeat, trying to capture that energy.
And this is where the A2 to B2 level really benefits. You already have some vocabulary. Now you're just installing the operating system of sound.
Tip 2. Focus on chunks and stress, not single words.
We touched on this. Stop seeing sentences as individual words lined up like soldiers.
Start identifying the beats in the sentence.
For example, instead of thinking, I will go to the bank tomorrow,
Think, I'll go to the bank tomorrow.
the words I will, to the, and the practically disappear. They are weak forms.
The emphasis is on bank and tomorrow. That's where the rhythm is created.
When you speak, try to feel the importance of those content words. Hit them harder, give them a higher pitch, and say them slightly longer.
This will help you get your point across much faster. You signal to the listener, hey, this is the important information.
You can practice this by marking the stressed syllables in a short paragraph you read aloud. Circle the nouns, main verbs, and key adjectives. Then read it, making those circled words stand out. Make the other words soft and fast.
It might feel a little dramatic at first, like you're overacting, but that exaggerated practice helps your mouth get used to the movement.
It helps you overcome that tendency to stress everything equally. Tip 3. Implement the 3-second rule.
Ooh, I love this one for immediate fluency improvement.
The 3-second rule is simple. Once you start speaking, you cannot pause for more than 3 seconds.
If you pause longer than 3 seconds, the fluency is broken. The conversation stalls.
If you are searching for a word or struggling with a complex grammatical structure and you hit that wall, you must immediately use a fluency placeholder.
What's a fluency placeholder?
Things like, right, let me see. Actually, so?
They are lifelines. They buy you time without breaking the sound flow.
They keep the microphone open, so to speak. If you pause silently for 5 seconds, the other person assumes you are finished.
If you say, I went to the store yesterday and, I completely forgot what I needed. The kept the listener engaged while your brain caught up.
And it sounds natural. Native speakers use these fillers all the time. They are part of the rhythm.
So if you hit a wall while speaking, don't stop. Just use a filler phrase and keep the sound moving. It's much better than silence.
And remember, if you make a little grammar mistake while rushing through to meet the 3-second rule, it's not the end of the world. Keep going.
Your job is to communicate, not to submit a perfect academic paper.
Tip 4. Use rhythm to differentiate meaning.
This is where intonation really shines. The same sentence can mean completely different things based on which word you stress. Let's try an example. The sentence, I didn't say he stole the money.
That's 7 words. Let's try stressing the first word. I didn't say he stole the money.
Meaning someone else said it, but I didn't. The stress isolates the person speaking.
Okay, now stress say. I didn't say he stole the money.
Meaning I implied it or I hinted at it, but I didn't use the word say.
Now stress he. I didn't say he stole the money.
Meaning, I said someone stole it, but I didn't identify that person as him.
This is powerful. You see, the words are 100% accurate, but the rhythm and intonation are what carry the true meaning and intention.
This is why focusing only on accuracy can fail you. You might see the words correctly, but stress the wrong one and accidentally accuse the wrong person.
That could lead to an awkward conversation at work, you know?
Or at the coffee shop, we need to practice stressing the word that carries the new information or the contrast in the sentence.
Tip 5. Practice speaking in dialogues, not monologues.
When you practice, don't just read aloud from a book. That's a monologue.
Real conversation is back and forth. It involves questioning, answering, and reacting.
And that means practicing the intonation for those functions. For instance, expressing surprise or reaction.
If I say, I quit my job, you should respond with high, surprised intonation. Oh, really?
That rising pitch on a really shows emotion. If you say it flatly, oh, really, it sounds like you don't care.
So practice simple dialogues with a friend or even by yourself, acting both parts. Focus on the emotional pitch.
We need to use emotional tone. If you sound excited, your intonation should reflect that, high and fast.
If you are explaining a serious issue, your intonation should be lower and slower.
Intonation is the tool we use to manage the interaction and show engagement. It shows that you are listening and reacting appropriately.
Let's recap those tips quickly before we move to our useful phrases.
1. Massive listening and shadowing it to absorb the sound patterns.
2. Focus on chunks and stress, hitting the important content words.
3. Implement the 3-second rule. Use fillers when you hit a wall.
4. Use rhythm to differentiate meaning. Stress the new or contrasting information.
5. Practice speaking in dialogues, focusing on emotional intonation.
Now, let's revisit the useful language focus phrases we mentioned earlier. These are phrases that are great for A2, B2 learners because they are highly applicable in daily life.
We have 3 that are perfect for discussing communication challenges and mistakes.
The first one we talked about was get your point across.
This phrase emphasizes successful communication. It's not just about speaking, it's about being understood.
For example, even though my French vocabulary is small, I managed to get my point across and order the food.
Or, when you argue, it's important to stay calm so you can get your point across effectively.
It's the ultimate measure of successful fluency. Did the listener understand your intention? If yes, you got your point across.
Our second phrase was hit a wall.
This idiom is great for describing mental blocks, study challenges, or physical tiredness.
It gives you a concise way to describe a complicated feeling of stagnation.
In our context, we are using it for fluency. I was speaking well, but then I hit a wall when I couldn't remember the correct tense.
It's not just for language either. I was trying to run 10 kilometers, but after 8, I really hit a wall and had to stop.
It implies a sudden, powerful barrier to progress. It's much stronger than just saying, I stopped.
And our third phrase, which we love because it embraces the spirit of fluency over perfection, is not the end of the world.
We use this to downplay the severity of a small mistake or a minor setback.
It means that while the situation isn't ideal, it won't cause serious damage.
If you miss a flight, it might be bad, but it's not the end of the world. You can book a new one.
If you make a grammar mistake in a meeting, it's not the end of the world. Just correct yourself quickly and move on.
It's a great phrase for reducing language anxiety, which is a massive block to fluency.
If you accept that small mistakes are not the end of the world, you feel more comfortable trying to get your point across quickly, and you are less likely to hit a wall.
It's all connected.
This has been such a critical discussion. If our listeners take one thing away, it should be the power of sound over structure.
Absolutely. Remember that English communication is more like singing than arithmetic.
The melody, the intonation, and the rhythm is what captures the listener and delivers the meaning.
Fluency equals communication, not perfection. Your goal in daily life is to solve problems, order food, share ideas, and make friends.
And good rhythm helps you do all of that faster and more smoothly.
So, this week, put away the grammar books for 15 minutes a day. Instead, grab some headphones and commit to massive listening and shadowing.
Listen to the music, feel the bounce. Notice where the native speakers stress those important content words.
And if you find yourself pausing for too long, just throw in a filler phrase, actually, so, and keep that 3-second rule in mind.
Don't worry about hitting a wall. Just climb over it with a smooth transition.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of The English Blend. We hope this helps you feel more confident when you speak.
Next time on the show, we're going to be talking about how to use phrasal verbs naturally in everyday office conversations.
That's going to be a fun one. So until then, keep practicing and remember that every mistake is just one step closer to fluency.
That was a great talk.
Yes, see you in the next episode of The English Blend.